Hi guys, welcome to my channel, RealHome Renae. I am Renee, and just to let you know, I love to do home decor DIY things. I love to do videos about homeschool, home decor, all the home stuff. So if you like that kind of thing, I would really appreciate one of these, right? It would really help me out. So I'm going to show you today's video is a home decor creation that I made this week, and I want to show you some of the other things I made, but in particular this thing as well that I'm about to show you, and it is a menu board. It is ready to be hung in my kitchen so all the family can see what we're having for dinner every night, right? Okay, so before I turn the camera around, I just want to tell you what I did really quick and what I used. So I created this chalkboard finish. I'll show it to you up close so that it looks like an old worn chalkboard, right? So I'll show you the process of how I got that using paints. And I also used two different kinds of stencils from a company called A Maker Studio, and I have partnered with that company, and I do some videos on their Facebook page, so you may have seen me over there as well. But they have great stencils that you can use to create things like this, and I used a menu stencil. I used our calendar stencil for the days of the week to give me, this look. And let me show you what else I created with our calendar stencil this week. I did some baby burp cloths. How cute are those? For a gift that I'm going to be giving. So I did one. So this is the stencil that I used, and this is the calendar stencil that I used as well. I also used our leopard print stencil with the calendar stencil. Okay, so I did those, and then I did these for my son. So these are tags we're gonna hang up in his room so that he can hang his clothes up for the days of the week and know what he's wearing every day, right? Gotta create that independence. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So cute tags, but today's video is mostly about how I got this finished. So I'm going to turn the camera around and show you how I got this. Put any of your questions in the comments, guys, and I'll go back and answer. I love sharing these DIY projects with you. I would love for you to come along on the journey with me. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye. So you can see here I'm starting with a 12 by 24 piece of wood. This was actually an old sign that I'm painting over. I do that quite a bit with my projects. I chose Amy Howard at Home one-step paint in the color Geyer Gray. And I'm also using a microfiber brush. It's a 2.5 inch brush. I love this brush because it gives such a smooth finish. And this paint, I've used it all throughout my home. I've used it on all my big projects, and it is a fabulous paint. I really like using this paint. It gives you full coverage, heavily pigmented. It's also a heavily mineral-based paint. So sometimes you want to make sure you shake it up well. Sometimes I will turn it upside down and make sure all those yummy pigments and minerals are at the top so I can use those without them settling. So those are just some tips for this type of paint. You can see it's going on pretty shiny, but it dries very matte. It's a very flat finish. And see how well it covers. You can see that I already have one coat of an ivory color one-step paint on there from years ago when I painted this sign initially. If you're painting a raw wood, you might need to do 2 to 3 coats because it is going to soak into the raw wood. But this paint is great because you can use it on many different surfaces and it sticks so well. So the purpose of using it for this project is for it to be used as a chalkboard with, when you use just regular chalk to write on it. And the great thing about this paint is that it is already sealed. You don't have to go back with a sealer unless you want extra protection. Actually, you don't want to use a sealer on it that has any type of sheen. If you use a sealer on it, like our flat finish sealer that we have at Amy Howard at Home, that will work because it is totally flat. So if you use anything with a sheen on it, it's going to inhibit the chalk laying down onto the surface. So make sure if you do seal it, you use a very flat finish sealer. So there you go. You can see I'm just going back and filling in any holidays, any places that I may have missed. So it covers very well. You'll see here I get the edges as well. I just paint the edges. You can go back with a different color paint on the edges if you want. You can go back with gilding. You can do different things. So there you go. It is flat, finished, and ready to move on to the next step. So you see how flat it dries. Now, the next color I'm picking up, it is called Cartouche Green, and this is one of our sample size cans. This is another one. So it is, let me look at the color of that. I think it's, I will put that in the comments. I can't remember what color that is. That is it's like an ivory white ivory, very light ivory color. So I'm using 2 colors here. You really probably can get away with just using the lighter color if you wanted to. I like blending it so that it looks a little bit more, less harsh, because if you have a dark color, especially if you're using black or a dark color for your chalkboard, you don't want it to be too harsh of a transition. So I use the 2 colors here to kind of mix, and I'm just using a seawool sponge that you can pick up at the craft store. You can pick up on Amy Howard at Home site as well, and you will see how I do this finish using the sponge. You want to make sure you've got your Mr. water bottle with you. I usually have that with me at all times when I'm painting any kind of craft. So I want to wet it, thin the paint. I always have my little paper plate there for mixing. And I'm kind of mixing the 2. And you will see it's a process really of just watering down the paint, kind of thinning it out, and then applying it to the board. So you can wet the board or you can just do it dry. You'll see I will go back with the spray bottle and wet it to thin it out. And I will also be using shop towels to take it off. So those blue shop towels that you can pick up, I like using those for my crafts. So you just kind of wipe it back as you need to. You don't want it to be too heavy. You want it to look natural. So I apply it and wipe it back. And then that gives you kind of that white washed look. So there you have it. And now you see me, I've used the menu stencil for my Maker Studio and the gel art ink and the squeegee to apply it. So if you want to see more of that and how I use the calendar stencil, you can watch the Maker Studio video where I did all of that. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.